Welcome to our 5th day of Stewardship Revival Week. The title today is Knowing the Owner. Have you ever wondered how David was so brave when he faced against Goliath? He was a young shepherd boy, so where did his courage come from? David knew something very important. God wins everything. He knew God was the true owner, which made all the differences, gave him full confidence. Who is the owner? When David came to the battlefield, he heard Goliath shouting and mocking the Israelites, calling them the servants of Saul and the armies of Israel. Goliath thought he was challenging the king Saul and the nation of Israel. So the soldiers thought that too, and they were terrified. On hearing the Philistines' words, Saul and all Israelites, they were dismayed and terrified. They were scared because neither King Saul nor they believed they were prepared to win. David saw things differently. When he talked to the soldiers, he asked, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" He knew he was not Israel's army, but God's army. So when he spoke with King Saul, he repeated, "Has defied the armies of the living God." Finally, he faced Goliath and he declared, "I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the gods of the army of Israel, whom you have defied." He knew who Goliath was really picking on, and since God owns the army of Israel, he would fight for his purpose. David believed what the Bible teaches: God owns everything. God wrote in the opening lines of one of his songs, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, in the world and all who live in it. For he founded it on the seas and established it on the waters." As the Creator, God owns everything. The Apostle Paul also said, "You are not your own, you are bought at a price." This means as once saved by God, we belong to God too. Our lives, time, talent, money, and everything else. Humans don't live forever because they are mortals. When they die, their belongings goes to someone else. They have no control and cannot protect the property. Unlike human owners, God, though invisible, never dies. He is the living God, always watching over what belongs to him, including you. Why God ownership matters. David recognized God as the owner of the army and realized the problems they were facing, and this gave him the confidence to face anything. When King Saul asked David how he could be so brave, he answered, "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion, paw of the tiger, of the bear, will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Since he belonged to God, he knew God would protect and ensure his victory. Even when Goliath tried to intimidate David by calling him a puny little dog and threatening to kill him, David did not back down. Why? He trusted that God, the real owner, would show up. The battles is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into her hands. David believed if God owned the battle, God will fight the battle. In the conviction of God ownership comes with the assurance of his intervention. He takes care of his own. The Bible tells us that God's protection, care, and intervention comes with his ownership, kind of like a bundle. Zechariah 2 verse 8 gives us a beautiful picture of it. "Whoever who touches you touches the apple of his eye." When someone passes by your eye, it is hard not to blink. Your reaction is automatic, which is called a reflex. In the same way, when we are in danger, God intervenes right away, as if it is his reflex, because we are the apple of his eye. We are his precious property. Not owners, we are all stewards. If God owns everything, then what are we? According to the Bible, we are God's stewards. That means we are managers, people who take care of things that belong to someone else. It started in the Garden of Eden. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. God asked Adam and Eve to take care of his magnificent creation. Apostle Paul wrote that God put everything under the feet. God gave us time, money, our body, and everything else, not to own, but to manage well for him. Good stewards do 4 things. Remember the provider. The Bible invites us to remember the Lord your God, for He gives you the ability to produce wealth. Some activities help us remember the owner. When we keep the Sabbath, we remember the Creator of all things, and that time belongs to God. When we turn our tithes and offerings, remember that God provides for our everyday need. Secondly, are faithful. Now it is required that those who've been given trust must prove faithfully. Stewards do not make their own rules. Instead, they obey and follow the instructions of the owner. As long as they are faithful, they do not have to worry about the results. The owner takes care of that. The Bible is the guideline for faithful stewards. Number 3. Serve and bless others. Stewards apply the principle of God and the principle of caring and sharing with others. Having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. They search for ways to bless others. Number 4. Are ready to give a report. Jesus told the parable of talents to illustrate that all who have and will receive from the owner will have one day report how they used it. The soldiers in Saul's army were afraid because they didn't see God as the owner of Israel and the battle. When we act like we own everything, trying to control everything ourselves, we feel worried, afraid, and stressed. But when we remember that God owns it all, we live with peace and we are courageous just like David. We are not owners, we are stewards. The battle belongs to the Lord. Going deeper, you should ask these 3 questions yourself throughout this week. What helped David to be so confident when everyone else was scared? How does knowing that you are the apple for God's eye make you feel? Can you think of something in your life that you can manage better for God?